There's another Mythic Games update, guys, that we need to talk about. It's a little rough. There's definitely some questions that still need to be answered, but I don't think we're going to get an answer. One thing I am going to answer, though, is my decision. Did I give the contribution or not? And what that means for me and what that means for you. All right, now if you didn't know, Mythic Games has been going through their backlog of undelivered games because there's a nice wide variety of them because they have a whole bunch, and asking for more money to deliver it, otherwise you don't get your game. This has brought on a lot of contention for a lot of people. I've covered this in detail in several other videos. I'll try and link down to those below if you need to do your research and find out what all the fuss is about and what led to the point where we're at now. But this is probably the final update before contributions are over. There's some information around language packs, especially German, Italian, and French. So be sure, I'll discuss that in a moment here. So it's just know that only some of you are getting your language, is what it looks like. But they did some changes to the actual structure of the language pack to maybe help accommodate that. That being said, there's still a general attitude we need to talk about. So, and of course, a decision point. Will you pay the money? Will I pay the money? Well, we're about to get to that. This was filmed last night for me, but I kind of went a little bit in detail, and it was already a long news video for a whole bunch of other stuff. So I wanted to separate this out into its own thing, so the runtime wasn't so long, and you guys didn't have to, like, if you only wanted this, you didn't have to sit through some more stuff. So this is just focused on Mythic Games. And also, before we do get into that, I would like to actually shout out my sponsor for today's video, Into the AM. I'm wearing their clothes right now. I've actually been doing this a lot lately. These new fall collection hoodies, fantastic, super soft, super warm. They're great. The shirt I'm wearing, long sleeve as well, and even these joggers here, fantastic. They fit great. They feel great. Super comfy. These have been like, I've been wearing these every chance I can because they feel so great. If I'm working from home, if I'm chilling at home, love them. Love lounging around in them, working at home from them, all that kind of stuff. It's great. So as you can see, they have a whole bunch of stuff actually. And I just wanted to note, they do have a pack of these. So if you are interested in that, you can get that. So that's good, and get some nice savings on that. And there's a 10% off code down in the description below and in the pinned comment. So feel free to use that code. Get 10% off any sale they have, any item they have. It works on everything. Save 10%, may as well. They also do have a cool few new arrivals. I really like the contrast that this Neon Shores tee brings with the black and then the pink and the bright blue. That looks great. Of course, anything with skulls, I'm all about. There's also one of my favorite ones way down here, actually. This right here, the Nebula Dreams shirt, I think also looks great. But they have some really good stuff, obviously. They're always coming out with more. But this fall collection, honestly, guys, as the weather's changing, it's quite nice. I'm super comfy, and I'll be wearing this all day. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the video. Thanks Into the AM for sponsoring the video. Thanks to you guys for supporting them because that helps support this channel. Let's get into it. Let's talk Darkest Dungeon, Mythic Games. Oh boy. Okay, now I do have one. I don't want to end on a bad note. Okay, so after I do this update, I have one more thing to show you. It's this kind of goofy, it's kind of silly. I laughed when I saw it. I think it was pretty funny. And it's kind of Halloween-y. You'll like it, but it'll be real quick. Darkest Dungeon. All right, so this came out a couple days ago at time of recording, so you may have already seen this, but here are my thoughts on it, right? So they talk about, hey, as agreed, hey, we're keeping up. Like suddenly them keeping their promise is good. I mean, it is. By all means, because they said, hey, we'll update like once a month, and then like they didn't for like 4 months. Or like they've been really bad for years. So I want to give positive reinforcement when something good happens. The problem is they're only fixing small things like, hey, we're talking to you again about how you need to give us money, which, like, thanks. Right? Here's another update on Wave 2. More of you have paid your contribution, and we'd like to thank you for that. So again, they're not thanking you for your patience. They're not thanking you for any like well wishes, or they're thanking you for paying them again, of course. And again, no apology. So they didn't listen to any word that we all said about that. There's nothing there about any kind of like sincerity or apologetic nature or feeling bad for the situation. None of that. But they're super proud instead that Wave 2 will be produced. And I don't like seeing this. This should be so bittersweet to them. It should be like, we're making our game or we're getting it to you guys and we're so happy, but we also feel so bad that we're not getting it to all of you. None of that though. Instead, they act like they're like in the right, like everything's cool and hunky dory, and this is totally fine, and actually it's great. Which I don't like. I think they're trying to act that way. I think they're trying to act that way because obviously, if you're like super negative, people are going to give you money, I think is the idea. But I also think that this is just kind of the general attitude they have, that they're doing the right thing and that what they're doing is the best way to do it, and there shouldn't be any other way to do it. And I'm not buying this as like, this is the best solution. I'm really not. French is being made. German looks like it might be made here. Yeah, that's right here. 582 German contributors. So that's almost 60%. So, and they said 60% was where French was last week, and now it's 100%. So if you are a backer and you did do the German stuff and you want your German copy, then you can definitely fund it and help it get it in German. That being said, if you don't make the contribution, you ain't getting the game anyway. So the heck does it matter to you, right? like you're either getting the game or you're not. So that's kind of silly. But do know that it looks like if enough of you do it, you will get the contribution. Spanish, probably not going to happen, but I guess we'll see. Italian, definitely not going to happen. If you backed for the Italian version, you're not going to get that. What they ended up doing is saying, instead of a PDF, we're going to give you a pack so you can essentially print it, right? So you could go to like Kinko's or wherever you want to, or laminate your own and essentially make your own version instead of these like PDFs that just have it all there. They'll actually be like organized and packed for you to do that. That's kind of cool as well. Remember, the contribution period ends on the 31st, even though they had all these issues and mistakes and all that stuff. And there's some issues here. It is in Darkest Dungeon, it is on Tabletop Simulator, though it is in French, so useless to most of the people because most of the people ordered in English. I'm not like against other languages. I'm just saying like number wise, that's why they were struggling to get even the French version printed, because there wasn't enough of them. So I guess yay on that. I don't know how many people that actually helps, which is kind of a bummer. They said here again, rest assured, as long as you wrote us before the deadline, we are committed to resolving your issues even after the deadline. I want to know how this is possible. Okay, so hear me out. They said they received 4,500 emails and hundreds of requests on Discord. So obviously you have until the 31st to like pay it. What they're saying is, don't worry, we'll respond to you. Like we'll fix what you responded to, like, or what you asked about, even if it's afterwards. The problem with that is I thought they were like ready to print. Like I thought they're asking because they're ready to go. If they're not ready to go, why is the limit the 31st? If it can extend, why not extend it? That makes no sense to me. Unless you have to cut on the 31st, keep it going. Unless you're just trying to do a sense of urgency or something. I don't even know what's going on there. And if you do have to hard cut it, then how is that possible? What are you going to do? I don't know. It's dumb. Now, then it says here, if you want to increase or decrease your pledge, it is possible. It says, let's repeat what we said in the last update. So there's no doubt about it. There's still doubt. Again, they're not listening to us. It's almost like they're, I mean, I guess because they got so much, 4,500 emails and that they just like don't know what we're saying, I guess. I don't know. The problem is this doesn't say that you get that money to go towards your contribution. It just means you don't have to pay 13 bucks on that. That's my suspicion. My suspicion is because, again, they don't explain it. They didn't explain it the last time. They didn't explain it this time. They just said, rest assured you can do that. Well, but what does that mean? I'm no longer wanting this $50 expansion that I bought. So don't make that. You don't have to make that. The cost of manufacturing of that box is gone from you. You haven't produced it yet. It's totally fine. You don't have to make that anymore. I still spent $50 that I gave to you for that thing I no longer want. Does any of that go to the $13 that you still want? Or do I still have to pay you? I just don't have to pay for the 13 on top of the 50 already. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not that hard of a question. It's really not. I know there's not even a lost in translation thing. They're just not addressing it. It's so loosely updated. And by the way, I think it's very purposely loosely updated. All it's saying is that you're decreasing your pledge, not your contribution. Your contribution is only what you get, but having them essentially saying, I don't want that game, it's no different than saying, I don't want to contribute that one $13 to it, because right now you kind of have to pay everything. And so they're just saying, oh, we'll drop that off the list, and you still have to pay for the other stuff. And they keep your $50 that you gave them then. Stupid. Okay. And this, at the end of the contribution period, which again, arbitrarily soon, I guess, we will be entering the first stages of Wave 2 production, not to be confused with manufacturing, which comes later. I know it says not to be confused, but I'm confused now. Why don't you explain that? Wouldn't that be great? What is the first stages as you define it? Because your definition doesn't necessarily match what everybody else does. Most people, they say, hey, if we're doing production, does that just mean like you still have to do proofs? You still have to get like a white box example and do all these measurements and change everything and make sure everything fits in the tray and finalize some molds? Like what does that mean? Right? Like, give us some information. No, just don't worry. We're not even manufacturing yet, but even though we haven't hit manufacturing yet, you still also need to pay the contribution. It's cut off on the 31st, except if you sent an email, in which case they'll probably still accept your money later because it's not actually a hard line that you had to stop. It just, okay. So I said I would update you guys on what I'm going to do. And by the way, you guys stellar in the comments. I see quite a bit of way more respect and reservation and well-worded and maturity here than I think is normally warranted. Like you guys are really good at this, because so many of these are just comments like, hey, I emailed you like a month ago and you hadn't responded, or hey, I sent my refund in like March and I still got an email for this, which means like you don't even know that I wanted a refund. So where am I in that? Like, I mean, it's a mess, guys. It's a mess of a communication. It's just abysmal. At a time when we need more and clear and more frequent communication, we get quick, loosely worded one-sentence remarks and arbitrary dates, apparently. So, will I pay the contribution? The answer for me is yes, as much as I don't like that. And here's why. Because I am sacrificing my stance that I would normally have, which would be no, for you guys. Because I am in a unique position you guys are not in, which is fine, where I have the ability to get this game and then show it to you guys. So if you didn't get it, if you're not paying for it, if you're standing your ground, which I fully support, you can still see what it was, what it ended up being. The community can be more educated, especially as they're going to be asking for the next one and the next one and the next one until it doesn't work anymore, right? They'll keep doing these contributions, okay? So they're going to keep doing this, and now the people can look back on this one and see how it ended up, see how it turned out, because that's valid and helpful information for them. So they can make the right decision that they want to make for Hell, for Monster Apocalypse, for Anastasia, for everything else that they owe, right? Like, it just seems like the right thing to do, not like for the channel, but for the community. So that's what I'm going to do. But that's the only reason I'm doing it. Otherwise, I'm very happy with what I have from Darkest Dungeon right now. And so while I would love more, it's a good game. I like it. It's not that, like, because I already have the Wave 1. I already paid for that. And I was promised that would go towards Wave 2. That would pay for it. I wouldn't have to pay again. I'm fine standing my ground on that. So the only reason I'm doing it is because of the channel. Just know that. I don't want to, like, try and set the precedent like, oh, King of Avengers is okay with it. I'm not okay with it. I'm not. But if it means I can help you guys in any way, shape, or form by showing that so you can see what it was, so you can be happy you didn't get it. Oh yeah, it doesn't like it. This is more of the same. I already have it. Like, by all means, that's great. Or if it's, hey, you know what? That actually looks pretty good. For me, it's right to do it on the next one or whatever. By all, whatever. As long as it helps you guys. So that's what I'll be doing. Not to end on a negative note, though. This Halloween with Atlas thing is hilarious. So this is a 3D print thing. I know a lot of you don't do that. I know some of you do. But I thought you might want something fun. So here's some sexy skellies. These are hilarious. They all have names. Here's Stacy. And here's Cheryl. And here's Samantha. Okay. Look, I hopefully I got a little chuckle from you guys. That's hilarious. Here's Stacy. It's hilarious. All right, guys, so that's it. I'm kind of bummed about it, right? Obviously, not super cool that we're even in this position. Not super cool that we're dealing with a company that doesn't seem to care too much. That actually, I think, feels kind of, I don't want to say vindicated, but very much in the right. Like, they are doing good work. And I can understand not just leaving. Like, I'm so conflicted about that. But at the end of the day, like, I have the game. I'm good with it. But I gotta take one for you guys. I gotta do it for you guys because it can help some of you out or future people out as well. Not everybody backed Darkest Dungeon. And I want to, if I'm in the position where I can help with that, and anything I can help to make the situation even mildly better, I hope I can do that. So that's kind of the goal there. But let me know what you think. Let me know what your decision is. Did you pay the contribution? Will you? Will you for another game? I mean, this is obviously wave 2 of Darkest Dungeon for many of us, so we already have some Darkest Dungeon. But what if they're like, hey, you can get hell, just pay us $60 and it's yours? Would you pay it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So let me know in the comments below. I'd love to have a conversation with you. With that, have a great rest of your day. Take care, guys.